Hello everyone and welcome you all to another chapter of the Adobe Premiere Pro project-based tutorial. So now we are on our chapter number 3 and here I'll be showing you guys about the grow effect in Premiere Pro. Okay, so we'll be learning about that here in this particular class. So let's not waste time and let's get started. So here, as you guys can see, I'm here in the home page of the Adobe Premiere Pro. Okay. So now what I'll do is I'll come here to the new project option and I will click here. And from here, I will type out the name in the project name panel. So I'll just name this one as Grow Effect. Okay. So I'll just name this one as Grow Effect and I will just come here and I'll just create a workspace over here. Okay. So as you guys can see, this is the workspace. If you want to change the workspace from here, you can come up to the workspace option from window and you can choose according to yourself. If you want to do editing, then you can choose this one. When you're putting effects, you guys can choose this one. Like that, you guys can change the preview or you can change the window panel as well. Okay, so now I will just select this workspace only. And first thing first, I need to import the media over here. Okay, so as you guys can see, I do have so many videos over here, but from here I will choose this one. And here you guys can see I have imported this particular video over here. So now the next thing what I'm going to do is I will select this video and I will put this here in the timeline. So here as you guys can see, this one is basically here in my timeline. Okay, now what else I can do is, as you guys can see here, I do have this frame. I will just come here. Okay, this particular video, I'll come at the front with my playhead. And now what I'm going to do is I will just take a screenshot. Okay, so if you guys don't know how to take a screenshot, so as you guys can see here in my preview panel, I do have the export frame. So from here, if I click on this icon, like camera icon over here, you can just click here and this type of page will appear over there. Okay, so you guys can basically write a name. Suppose I'll just name this one as blank. So I'll just name this one as blank. And I need to make sure that I tick this button over here. Okay, import into project. So what I'll do is I'll come here and I will click on OK from here. So as you guys can see, once I clicked OK, I do have this blank out space over here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'll come here and I'll put this one here on my screen. Okay, so as you guys can see, I do have this particular screen over here. And now once I have selected this blank space, I'll come here and I will just right click on my mouse and I'll come directly to this option, edit in Adobe Photoshop. So as my Adobe Photoshop is connected with my Premiere Pro, so it will open me up in Adobe Photoshop. So from there, I can just basically work around. So it will just directly take me to Photoshop space. And as you guys can see, I do have my Photoshop opened in my desk. What I'm going to do is I'll be selecting this pen tool from here. And now I will just mark this thing up and I will just disappear this whole thing. I will show you guys how you can do that. So I'll just come here and now I will just make some kind of shape. It don't have to be quite exact. So if you just want to change the spacing or if you want to go back, you guys can always do that here as well. So I'll just take the space and it might take some time, but you don't have to do quite good. So I'll just mark this whole thing up because I'm just going to place a mask tab. Okay, shift plus enter on my keyboard. Okay, so control plus enter from here. And as I've selected control plus enter, here you guys can see this particular space is being marked over here. Okay, so now the next thing what I'm going to do is I will come here on my screen and I'll click on shift backspace. And once I've clicked shift on backspace, here you can see I do have my fill box here as well. So in the fill box, as you guys can see, I do have different options over here: foreground color, background color, color, content aware, pattern. So from here, what I'll choose is I'll choose the content aware option. Okay, so I'll just select the content aware, blending mode normal, opacity 100%. I'll click on OK, and it might take some time, but here, as you guys can see, if I just click somewhere outside this, okay, so if I just come here, and what I can do is I can just click on Control D, and here you guys can see I have deselected that particular part. And here you guys might notice if I just kind of zoom in, okay, so here I need to zoom in with Control and plus, and with my mouse I can adjust the spacing. So here, if you guys notice, this particular parts, this are kind of rough, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'll come here, okay, I will come to this option over here, and I do have my patch tool. Okay, so here in the edit toolbar I have put my patch tool underneath. So the like shortcut key for that is J from our keyboard. So I'll take the patch tool, and what I'm going to do is I will just select this particular part. As you guys can see, I will just try to select this part, and what I'm going to do is I'll just move this one kinda on top, or I'll just take this thing over here. So as you guys can see, I have put this thing over here. And now this side also I can do the same if I want. Okay, so I can come here. And now with my patch tool, what I'm going to do is I will just select this particular part. And what I'm going to do is I'll just put this one somewhere over here. Okay, so this is how I can actually work out. And if I want to move this place over here, what I can do is I can just take this thing and now again select this layer. Okay, and I can just change this. And now again, I can just create some boundaries over here. Okay, and I can just replace it from here. I will just replace it down. So this is how it actually looks with the patch tool. So now let's see how it basically looks. You guys can basically take more time, okay, to do these things, to do the edges, because once you do the edges properly, your image or the image quality will be quite great, okay. And now I will click on Control S. Okay, so here you guys can see I do have this one over here. So I'll just come to downloads, and I will, so as you guys can see, I will save that particular file over here. And now again, what I'll do is I'll come to Premiere Pro from here. Okay, I have this image, and what I'll do is I will also make a duplicate of this thing. So I'll just click on Control, and I can also give a duplicate of this thing. So now I will create another two from here. So now what I'll do is I'll just delete this layer. Okay, so I will just cut this one, and from here as well, I will just cut this thing out. Now what I'll do is I will come here and I will import more media. And here, as you guys can see, I do have the blank PSD here. So what I'll do is I'll put this one here on top. And now after that, what I can do is I can take another image down from here. And now I will create two more. Okay, so I'll just create two more from here. Okay, I'll just click on Control. Okay, so I'll just click on Control and I'll add another one over here. So as you guys can see, I do have this blank PSD, and now I will take this PSD and I'll delete one of this one. Okay, so I will just right click here and I will cut this one from here, as you guys can see. So I will take this PSD over here. Okay, if I just click this one, and now I do have this PSD over here. And let me check this one. So now what I'll do is I'll just keep this thing somewhere around here. Okay, so I'll just keep this to some here. And now if I just play this, and this is how it will actually look. This is not the last thing. This is just an example of how you're gonna put, or you guys can just take a look at the first space. If you come somewhere here, okay, now I will just put this one and I will just place this thing here down. Okay, so I will just try to play this, or I will just move this around here and bring this one over here. And now let's try to play this out. Okay, so here, as you guys can see, I am able to play this thing down. Right now, what I'm going to do is I will just add this thing over here and this one over here. And then I'll right click here and I will come here to the cut option and I'll cut this particular thing from here. Okay. So here, as you guys can see, this is the black image. If I wanna increase the size, I can increase the size and I can match this size from here. Okay. So I do have this frame. Now what I can do is I can just take another blank BMP file. Okay, I'll take another blank BMP file, and what I can do is I'll just select this one and now right click again, and from here, okay, I'll just come here and right click, edit in Adobe Photoshop. So here, as you guys can see, now what I'll do is I need to select things quite properly. Okay, so I'll just zoom in a little bit, okay, to the corners. So now what I'll do is I'll select this layer, this, and I'll come here this layer as well. Okay, I'll try to make some nice boxes around. Okay, so here I need to do it quite properly. If you want to give any kind of curves, you guys can give some curves as well. So I'll just choose this over here, and now again check the size. Okay, so if you just want to go back, you guys can go back like this as well. Okay, see here, I will just come down, and now what I can do is I'll select this layer, I'll come here, and again I will just move this thing around from here. And what I'll do is I'll just select this particular layer quite easily. So first I want this view, and after that I want the next part. For that, I will just come up over here. And what I can do is I will just go back again. Okay, so I will just keep this thing over here. Okay, so I'll just keep this thing over here. And now I can make lines over here as well. Okay, so I'll just adjust the spacing. If I want to create any lines, I can make those lines there as well. So as you guys can see, so I'll just again come here to this side. Okay, I'll try to do it quite properly. Okay, I need to make sure that I keep the lining over here. So now I do have this one, and now here, as you can see, I only do have this image. And now what you can do is you can come to the mask option, and here you guys can see I only do have this part now. So I'll just come here to the file option, and from the file option I'll click to save, and now I will just click on, I'll just rename it as frame one. Okay, so I'll just name this one as frame one. And now I will just save this thing. Okay, so I'll just save this thing and I'll click on OK from here. And now again, come back to Premiere Pro. And from Premiere Pro, what you can do is, as I do have this blank BMP file, I will just put this one somewhere down over here. And what I'm going to do now is I will again come to this import place over here. And as you guys can see, I do have the blank page over here. And maybe I have this file here in the documents. Okay, so here, as you guys can see, I have a lot of things, but where did I keep this particular file? So for that, again, what I can basically do is I will just close this one, come here in the Photoshop file and save as. and I will basically save this here in my downloads. And from here, I will save this as frame 1. Okay, I'll click OK. And now come to Premiere Pro, double click, and I do have my frame 1 over here. And I will click on OK. So here, as you guys can see, I do have clicked here this one, and now I do have the PSD file. So I will just keep this thing around here. Okay, I'll just keep this thing here on the top, and I will bring this layer, the frame 1, and I will just put this somewhere around here. Okay, and again, what you guys can do is you guys can actually create more of these lines over here. Okay, if you want to create, so I'll just come here, and also the other frames you guys can create. So I'll just decrease the size of somewhere over here, and I will clip this clip over here. So again, now from here, what I'll do is I will click here, right click, and you can go to edit in Photoshop option. Okay, so as you guys can see, I do have this thing over here. And what I can do is I will just take this part, okay, as I have selected the other part before this one. So I'll just create a line, and I will just make a mask. Again, make sure to do it quite properly. If you guys want to go back, you guys can go back as well. So for me, I'm doing it quite fast. Okay, so if you guys do have any issue understanding, you guys can basically tell, and you guys can actually spend more time there. Like, you don't have to do it so much in hurry. Okay, so now what I can do is I will just click on the mask option. Okay, so I'll just click on the mask option from here. And now what I can do is I can come to the file option. I will go to save as, and I will save this one as frame 2. Okay, so I'll save this one as frame 2, and I will save this thing as a PNG file. Okay, so I'll just save this one. Here I do have the PNG file, and here you can see you can also change the file size. So I'll just put this one as a medium size. Okay, medium size, and I will click on OK. It might take some time to just save it up. Okay, again, come to the Premiere Pro over here, double click, and once you have double clicked here, I do have this thing, like I do have my frame 1. And now what I can do is I can basically come here, take up my frame, and I will just delete this thing. And now if I just select this over here, you guys can see how it basically looks. Or I can just come up here, and what I can do is I can click on Control I. Okay, so I'll just come here or come to the Photoshop here back again. And once you have selected this one, okay, so I will just select this layer, and I'll click on Control I. So for me, what I did is I created all these files over here in Photoshop. Otherwise, it will just be so big. Okay, this particular chapter will be quite big. Okay, so just to save the time, I have did this, and I have already shown you guys how you can do that. So I'll just put all of this here again. Okay, so this is the 2 number, and this is the third one. And once I'm working here with the third one, okay, I'll put it here. Okay, I need to make sure that I off both of this layer. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll come here, and now I will select this layer, and I will come to this option here called the opacity, and I'll select the pen tool. So I'll come here and I will make a box. Okay, so I'll just make a box over here, and I will keep this layer somewhere here, and I'll just join all of this. Okay, so as you guys can see, I have joined all of this, and here you guys can also see my video is being reversed. Okay, so now this is a video. As you guys can see, the cloud is moving. Okay, and now I have done this thing as well. So here I am done with the first image, and now what I'll do is I'll come somewhere here, and I will just want to see this part, okay, like how it basically appears. And now once I'm here in this second part over here, Okay, what I'm going to do is, suppose I want to start this effect over here. Okay, so I can just take this second frame somewhere here, and now this is at the starting. Okay, and what I'm going to do is, as I have did this thing now, I will come here to the effects option. Okay, so from here I will go to the effects option, and here I will just write transform. Okay, so here you guys can see I do have the transform, and now what I'll do is I'll put the transform here. Okay, in this particular thing, I'll just put up the transform. So here, once I have applied the transform, I'll again go to the effects controls. And from here, as you guys can see in transform, I do have the position option. So I'll just click here on the position option, and here you guys can see I do have my keyframe. And the thing to notice that while you're actually changing the position, make sure that you guys are your playhead is basically over here, that you can actually see the changes from here, and also this will be able to put up the keyframes accordingly. Okay, so from here what I'm going to do is, now I'll change the position a bit. Okay, so this particular thing I will just change the position, and I want it to appear somewhere over here. Okay, so for that again I'll change the positioning a bit. Okay, so I'll just change the positioning from here. And what I'm going to do is, now I will go few frames forward. Okay, so now I will go few frames forward from here. I will somewhere come up here. And now what I'm going to do is, I will be giving another keyframe. Okay, so before that what I'm going to do is, I will just reset the parameter. Okay, so as you guys can see, I have reset the parameter, and it will be basically appear over here. Okay, so now if I come back somewhere over here, and let's see a preview of how it appears. Okay, but what I want to do is, I don't want to show that it's coming from down. In that case, what I'll do first here is, I will come to this option over here again. Okay, so I will come here in the beginning. Okay, so I'll just come here in the beginning, and now I will select this layer. Okay, so I'll just select this particular layer, and what I'm going to do is, I'll just make a mask. Okay, so for that I'll again come to the opacity option, and from the opacity option what I'm going to do is, I will just select this particular layer. Okay, that it will only show me those layer. Okay, so I'll come here, and I will select this thing, and I'll just create another mask. So I will come here. So now here I will just create a mask. Okay, so using this tool, I'll just make a box where I want this thing to appear. So I'll just go back a little bit, and I will just join this thing over here. Okay, or I will come somewhere here, and I'll join this thing. And now if I just play the video, you guys can see how it basically looks. Okay, if I'll come back again. So here, after putting mask, as you guys can see, this layer kind of looks good, and the transition is quite smooth as well. Okay, so here, as you guys can see, the transition is quite smooth, and the same thing I'll be doing here. Okay, I'll bring this layer somewhere over here, and now what I'll do is, I'll come here in the third one over here. Okay, so this is the third place. And what I'm going to do is, now I will come to this page over here, and I will keep this thing, and I need to make sure that this one is in the starting. Okay, so this one should be basically here in the starting, and I will put it somewhere here. Take my playhead. Okay, I will take my playhead over here, select this layer, and what I'm going to do is, I'll just repeat the same thing what I did over here as well. Okay, so now as I am here, what I'm going to do is, put the transform over here. Okay, drag and drop transform over here, or come here and search for transform. Okay, so I'll just search for transform. Okay, as you guys can see, I do have the transform over here, and I'll put this thing somewhere around here. What I'll do is, I'll make this layer quite visible. Okay, now this layer is also visible, And if I just keep this playhead somewhere here, and let me play this up. Okay, so here as you can see this layer, I know this kind of not looks that great. Okay, I have left one layer here in the middle, but this is how I wanted to do and show you guys that you guys understand in a better way. So I have applied the transform here as well. So the next thing what I need to do is I need to select this one, and here come to the position option and put up a keyframe here in the position option. And now if you want to appear this one from here, okay, I have added one keyframe over here, and again reset this whole parameter, or I'll just go back again. Yeah, so now I will just take quite frame further. Okay, so I'll just take few frames further, and now I will select this reset option. Okay, so as you guys can see, I do have this thing. And what I'm going to do is I'll come here at the starting of this one, and I'll make a box over here. Okay, so this is going to be a mask box. So I'll just mark this layer. Okay, I'll just keep on a mark of this particular layer. And now as you guys can see here, if I just play these things out, how it will basically look. So now what I'm going to do is, as I do have this layer now as well, and if I want to give some effects, I can put on some effects here as well. Okay, so as you guys can see how it actually looks and how it basically appears over here. Okay, so this is how it actually appears. If I want to lengthen this, I can basically lengthen this process here as well. Okay, as you guys can see, this is how it will actually look, and I do have my video there as well. Okay, so I will come here in the second one, and I'll also trim this one up here. Okay, so I will just trim this up over here, and this is the final result of how my pictures will appear here on the screen. So you guys can also do the same. If I want to add any kind of audios, then I'll come here in this particular project, right click, and from here I do have a resource file. So from this resource file, if I want to add a music, I can add those music here as well. Okay, come here, bring your playhead, and now just put up a cut. So you guys already know how you can basically put up a cut. So for that, I will have my razor tool, and I'll bring my razor tool over here, select the selection tool, select this layer, and delete this one. So this is how now it will basically look, as you guys can see. So this is how it actually looks. So for me, this one is quite rough. You guys can see there are a few minute mistakes here. You guys can understand the masking over here, but you guys can do it quite well. Okay, make sure to use your pen tool over the sides. Okay, quite properly, and take your time. Okay, it actually takes a lot of time. If I would have taken that much of time or that amount of time, then I wouldn't be able to finish this course in a small period of time. Okay, so this is one of the main effect which you use in Premiere Pro. So make sure to use it quite properly. As I was telling, okay, like in the next class about what you will learn. So here in the next class, we'll be learning how you can actually create a slow motion and also a speed ramp in Premiere Pro. Okay, so we'll be learning about all of that here in the next class. Till then, take care and goodbye, everyone.